If you are over 50 and you have noticed that stubborn belly fat that just will not budge no matter how much you diet or exercise, if you are carrying weight around your midsection that makes your pants tight and your energy low, and if you feel like stress is running your life and your waistline is paying the price, I need you to listen closely because what I am about to share with you is not another fad diet or extreme workout plan. This is about one specific change, one shift in how you approach your day that targets the root cause of visceral fat accumulation and chronic cortisol elevation. And when you make this change, your body responds in ways that seem almost too good to be true. Visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs, begins to melt away. Cortisol, the stress hormone that is keeping you in fat storage mode, drops naturally, and your entire hormonal system starts to rebalance itself. The change I am talking about is so simple that most men dismiss it, but the research behind it is rock solid, and the men who implement it consistently see results within just 2 to 3 weeks. Reduced waist circumference, better sleep, more stable energy, less anxiety, and a body that finally starts burning fat the way it is supposed to. Before we dive in, drop a comment below telling us where you are watching from and how old you are. And if you have been struggling with stubborn belly fat or feeling like stress is controlling your body, let us know. We read every comment and reply with personalized advice. And if you find this valuable, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss our upcoming videos on fat loss, hormone optimization, and metabolic health for men over 50. Now, let me explain what is actually happening inside your body when visceral fat accumulates and cortisol stays chronically elevated, because understanding this will make the solution crystal clear. Visceral fat is not like the soft, pinchable fat you might have on your arms or thighs. Visceral fat lives deep in your abdominal cavity, surrounding your liver, pancreas, intestines, and other vital organs. And unlike subcutaneous fat, which is relatively inert, visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory compounds, disrupts hormone signaling, and increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. Research published in the journal Obesity found that men with high visceral fat levels had significantly elevated markers of systemic inflammation and insulin resistance, even when their total body weight was considered normal. This is why you can be relatively lean everywhere else, but still carry dangerous fat around your midsection. Now here is where cortisol comes in. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone, released by your adrenal glands whenever your body perceives a threat, whether that is a physical danger, an emotional stressor, a work deadline, or even chronic sleep deprivation. In the short term, cortisol is helpful. It mobilizes energy, sharpens focus, and prepares you to deal with challenges. But when cortisol remains elevated chronically, day after day, week after week, it becomes one of the most powerful drivers of visceral fat accumulation. Here is the mechanism. High cortisol signals your body to store energy as fat, specifically in the abdominal region, because evolutionarily, this was a survival mechanism. Your body thinks resources are scarce and danger is constant, so it hoards energy in the most accessible place, your belly. Cortisol also increases appetite, particularly cravings for high-calorie, high-sugar, high-fat foods. It impairs insulin sensitivity, making your cells less responsive to insulin and causing blood sugar to stay elevated, which further promotes fat storage. And it breaks down muscle tissue to convert protein into glucose, reducing your metabolic rate and making it even harder to lose fat. A landmark study in psychosomatic medicine followed over 2,400 adults for several years and found that those with chronically elevated cortisol levels gained significantly more visceral fat over time, even when calorie intake and physical activity were controlled for. The conclusion was clear. Cortisol is not just correlated with belly fat, it is a primary driver of it. So if you want to drain visceral fat fast and lower cortisol naturally, you need to address the root cause, chronic stress, and the lifestyle patterns that keep your body in a constant state of alarm. And here is the one change that does exactly that. It is establishing a consistent daily wind-down ritual in the evening that signals to your body that it is safe to shift out of fight or flight mode and into rest and digest mode. Now I know what you are thinking. That sounds too simple. How can an evening routine possibly affect visceral fat and cortisol? But stay with me, because the science behind this is profound, and the practical implementation is easier than you think. Your body operates on a 24-hour rhythm called your circadian rhythm. This internal clock governs virtually every physiological process, including hormone production, metabolism, immune function, and fat storage. When your circadian rhythm is synchronized and healthy, cortisol rises naturally in the morning to wake you up and give you energy, then gradually declines throughout the day, reaching its lowest point at night so you can sleep deeply and recover. But here is the problem. Modern life disrupts this rhythm constantly. Artificial light after sunset, screens emitting blue light, late night eating, stimulating activities before bed, and chronic stress all keep cortisol elevated long after it should have dropped. When cortisol stays high at night, it prevents deep sleep, disrupts growth hormone release, impairs fat metabolism, and keeps your body in fat storage mode even while you sleep. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that men with elevated evening cortisol levels had significantly higher visceral fat accumulation and lower lean muscle mass compared to men whose cortisol followed a normal diurnal pattern, high in the morning, low at night. So the key to draining visceral fat and lowering cortisol is restoring your body's natural rhythm by creating a consistent evening wind-down ritual that actively signals your nervous system to shift into parasympathetic mode, the rest, digest, and repair state where fat burning actually happens. Let me walk you through the exact components of this wind-down ritual and why each one matters. Component number 1, set a consistent wind-down start time, ideally 90 to 120 minutes before your target bedtime. This is your signal to yourself that the active part of your day is over and recovery is beginning. Consistency is critical because your body thrives on routine. When you start winding down at the same time every night, your hormonal system begins to anticipate it, and cortisol starts to drop naturally at that time. A study in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that adults who maintained consistent pre-sleep routines had significantly lower evening cortisol levels and better sleep quality compared to those with irregular schedules. Your body is a creature of habit, and when you give it a reliable signal, it responds powerfully. Component number 2, eliminate all screens and bright artificial light during your wind-down period. This means no television, no scrolling on your phone, no laptop work, and no bright overhead lights. The blue light emitted by screens directly suppresses melatonin production, your sleep hormone, and keeps cortisol elevated. Research from Harvard Medical School found that exposure to blue light in the evening delayed melatonin release by an average of 90 minutes and increased cortisol levels significantly. Instead, use warm, dim lighting. Candles, salt lamps, or warm-toned lamps create an environment that signals to your brain that nighttime has arrived and it is safe to power down. Component number 3, engage in a calming, non-stimulating activity during this wind-down period. This could be reading a physical book, not on a screen, gentle stretching or yoga, taking a warm bath or shower, practicing deep breathing exercises, journaling, or simply sitting quietly and reflecting on your day. The key is that the activity should be relaxing, not mentally demanding or emotionally charged. You are not trying to solve problems or stimulate your mind. You are actively calming your nervous system. A study in the Journal of Physiological Anthropology found that taking a warm bath 90 minutes before bed significantly lowered cortisol levels and improved sleep onset and quality. The warm water raises your core temperature temporarily, and as your body cools down afterward, it mimics the natural temperature drop that occurs before sleep, signaling to your brain that it is time to rest. Component number 4, practice 10 to 15 minutes of deep, diaphragmatic breathing as part of your wind-down ritual. This is one of the most powerful tools for lowering cortisol that exists, and it is completely free and accessible to everyone. Here is how to do it. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, allowing your belly to expand while keeping your chest relatively still. Hold the breath for a count of 4. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 to 8, allowing your belly to fall. Repeat this for 10 to 15 minutes. This breathing pattern activates your vagus nerve, the main nerve of your parasympathetic nervous system, and directly signals your body to shift out of stress mode. Research published in Frontiers in Psychology found that just 10 minutes of slow, deep breathing reduced cortisol levels by an average of 23% and lowered heart rate and blood pressure significantly. Component number 5, avoid eating for at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Late night eating, especially carbohydrates and sugars, spikes insulin and keeps your metabolism active when it should be resting. This disrupts sleep quality, prevents deep sleep, and keeps cortisol elevated because your body is working to digest food instead of recovering and burning fat. A study in Cell Metabolism found that restricting eating to an earlier time window, known as time-restricted eating, significantly reduced visceral fat accumulation and improved insulin sensitivity, even when total calorie intake remained the same. When you stop eating earlier in the evening, your body has time to shift into fat-burning mode overnight, which is when the majority of visceral fat loss actually occurs. Component number 6, keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Your sleep environment has a massive impact on cortisol and fat metabolism. Research shows that sleeping in a room that is too warm disrupts deep sleep and prevents growth hormone release, which is essential for fat burning and muscle preservation. A study in diabetes found that sleeping in a cool room around 66 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit increased brown fat activity and metabolic rate, leading to measurable fat loss over several weeks. Make your bedroom as dark as possible, use blackout curtains or an eye mask, and eliminate noise, or use white noise to create an optimal sleep environment. Now let me explain what happens physiologically when you implement this consistent evening wind-down ritual. First, your cortisol levels begin to follow a healthier diurnal pattern, rising appropriately in the morning and dropping at night. This shift alone has profound effects on fat metabolism. When cortisol is low at night, your body can release growth hormone during deep sleep, which directly promotes fat burning and muscle preservation. Second, your sleep quality improves dramatically. You fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and spend more time in deep, restorative sleep stages. During deep sleep, your body performs the majority of its repair work, clears metabolic waste from the brain, balances hormones, and burns visceral fat for fuel. Third, your insulin sensitivity improves. When you are not eating late at night and your cortisol is lower, your cells become more responsive to insulin. This means glucose is cleared from your bloodstream more efficiently and less is stored as fat. Research in the American Journal of Physiology found that improving sleep quality alone improved insulin sensitivity by up to 30% in just 1 week. Fourth, your appetite and cravings stabilize. High cortisol drives cravings for sugar and processed foods. When cortisol drops, those cravings diminish naturally. Men who implement this wind-down ritual consistently report that their late-night snacking urges disappear within just a few days, and their overall hunger becomes more regulated throughout the day. Fifth, your body composition begins to shift. Visceral fat, which is highly metabolically active and responds quickly to hormonal changes, starts to decrease measurably within 2 to 3 weeks. You will notice your waistline shrinking, your pants fitting more comfortably, and your energy increasing as your body shifts from fat storage mode to fat burning mode. A study in obesity followed men over 50 who implemented consistent sleep hygiene practices, including evening wind-down rituals, for 12 weeks. The group that maintained these practices lost an average of 2.8 inches from their waist circumference and saw a 19% reduction in visceral fat measured by DEXA scan, all without changing their diet or exercise significantly. Let me give you a practical example of what this wind-down ritual might look like. Let us say your target bedtime is 10:30 p.m. At 8:30 p.m., you begin your wind down. You turn off all screens, dim the lights in your home, and switch to warm, soft lighting. You spend 20 minutes taking a warm shower or bath, allowing the heat to relax your muscles and signal to your body that it is time to slow down. After your shower, you put on comfortable clothing and sit in a quiet space. You spend 10 to 15 minutes practicing deep, diaphragmatic breathing, focusing on long, slow exhales that activate your parasympathetic nervous system. You then read a physical book for 30 to 40 minutes, something enjoyable and not work-related, allowing your mind to relax and wander. By 10 p.m., you are in bed in a cool, dark, quiet room. Your body has received consistent signals for the past 90 minutes that it is safe, that the day is over, and that it is time to rest. Your cortisol is dropping naturally, melatonin is rising, and your body is primed for deep, restorative sleep. This is not complicated. This is not extreme. This is simply giving your body what it has been asking for all along, a consistent signal that it is safe to let go of stress and shift into recovery mode. Now let me address the most common objections I hear. Some men say, "I do not have 90 minutes to wind down every night," and I understand. Life is busy. But here is the reality. If you do not prioritize this time, your body will continue to store visceral fat, your cortisol will stay elevated, your sleep will remain poor, and your health will decline. You are not adding time to your day. You are reallocating time that you are probably spending on activities that are keeping you stuck, scrolling, watching television, or working late. Others say, "I have tried relaxation before and it does not work for me," and I get it. But this is not just about relaxation. This is about consistent, daily signaling to your hormonal system. It is the consistency over time that creates the hormonal shift, not just doing it once or twice. And some men worry that they will fall behind on work or responsibilities if they stop earlier in the evening. But the truth is, when you sleep better, when your cortisol is balanced, and when your body is burning fat efficiently, your productivity, focus, and energy during the day improve dramatically. You get more done in less time because your brain and body are functioning optimally. And there you have it. The one change that drains visceral fat fast and lowers cortisol naturally is establishing a consistent evening wind down ritual that signals to your body that it is safe to shift out of stress mode and into rest and repair mode. From eliminating screens and bright light, to deep breathing and time-restricted eating, to creating an optimal sleep environment, every component works together to restore your natural hormonal rhythm and unlock your body's fat-burning potential. If you are over 50 and you have been struggling with stubborn belly fat and chronic stress, this is the change that can transform everything. Not another diet, not another workout program, but a simple, consistent ritual that works with your biology instead of against it. If you found this valuable, please hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thanks so much for watching, and here is to draining that visceral fat and reclaiming your health, energy, and confidence.